There were periods where, because of laws, restrictive covenants, people of color couldn't get loans.
Give me your thoughts on the importance of keeping black dollars, black wealth in the black community.
You have to understand the fundamentals of finance. It's the science of managing money. Failure prepares you for success, and you have to go through some type of adversity in order to build. And the playground for advancement in that field is so wide open.
Welcome back to Casual Conversations with Mario Morrow. Today we have a very special guest, a good friend of mine, Dimitrius Hutcherson. Am I saying that right?
Yes, you are.
All right, very good. You got one of those real unique, famous names.
I don't know about famous, but definitely unique.
Man, let me tell you something. I was reading your bio, which I have read a few times, but every time I read it, I'm more and more impressed. Morehouse grad, Harvard grad, member of, Kappa Alpha Psi, which we'll talk about a little later.
Pretty good organization to be affiliated with.
You sit on a number of boards and committees nationwide, well respected in the banking industry. And we'll start off with this, just promoted in January to be the president of First Independence Bank.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel to hear all that?
It is a great feeling. It really validates the work that I put in over the years. It goes back to when I started my career coming out of Morehouse, and I wanted to be in banking. I followed a lot of the upperclassmen that pursued careers in banking, and for me it validates the hard work, the ups and downs, and you just continue to believe in yourself and keep working.
You went to Cass Tech.
Yes, I did.
And you graduated in what, 1979?
78.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know they taught good math over at Cass. I'm a Mumford guy. But
All right.
So with that, all jokes aside, did Cass give you that foundation, the financial foundation?
Yes. So interestingly enough, I was in the chemical bio curriculum initially at Cass because I thought I wanted to be a surgeon. But once I really did the math and realized that you had to spend a number of years in college, undergrad, surgeon, resident, I thought about other careers that I was also interested in. I was always interested in the whole science of money and how it moves and how you can grow and develop it. So I took a lot of courses that were technical, obviously chemistry, physics, and I also took calculus at Cass. So it prepared me for what I was going to have to do in college.
For Cass, where'd you go to school? That's one of those
yeah.
questions.
Oh no.
You gotta ask. You're from Detroit. You gotta know where'd you go to school?
I am a proud East Sider, Lower East Side, Mack and Bewick, and typically when people they look at my bio and they say Mack and Bewick, whoa, it's rough over there, right? And it was, and it's even rougher. So I remember having to walk. I went to Julia Ward Howell Elementary School. I went to Foch, Foch Junior High. I grew up on Garland between Charlevoix and Verner, literally right down the street from Dr. Ossian Sweet's house.
Okay.
I caught the Verner bus to Cass Tech. So as a kid, I knew about his story, but to kind of segue, I was a member of the Scrollers Club at Morehouse, pledging Kappa. I had to look for some information for one of the big brothers for some research. And I saw Dr. Sweet's house because we all knew about it. I said, what's his house doing in there? 2905 Garland.
right.
And the story of Dr. Ossian Sweet. And I just said, oh my gosh. So I guess pledging Kappa is probably the right thing. But I grew up on that side of town,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of history, a lot of richness associated with it. But it's a tough area where you had to, in some ways, I had to fight a few times, but
Right.
I fought my
You
way
made
out
it
of
out.
it. Yes,
You
indeed.
made it out. You know, it's funny because, you know, when people try to say they're tough or I'm from Mac and Bewick, you know, like, okay, that's like a what
Yeah.
up, though kind of thing, a
It
Detroit
sure
thing, you
is.
know.
Yes,
That's
it is.
international, you know, where you
Yeah.
from? Mac and Bewick.
Yes,
You know?
indeed. That is surprising. A lot of people do know that, just like a lot of them now know what up, dough. So
Right,
that's
right. NFL
it's so
draft
cool.
brought it up to light.
It sure did. It sure did.
Family?
Gosh, I met my wife in college. We have been married 41 years. I have a daughter that was born in
So
Detroit.
she must have went to Spelman.
She went to my daughter went to the
No,
university.
your wife. You said
my
you met your
wife
wife.
went to Clark College,
Oh,
which
Clark.
was across the street.
Right.
She's a DC girl from
Yeah.
Northwest DC. We have 2 children, and I have a 38-year-old daughter who has 4 girls. She actually moved back here. She was born here, and I have a son. They are 13 years apart. He was born in Philadelphia, and he actually. So the interesting thing, my 2 kids they went to colleges in the state of Michigan. My daughter went to University of Michigan, Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering, 4 years in, 4 years out. Son, undergraduate degree, initially at Howard, transferred to Valparaiso, played football, had 2 more years of eligibility left, went to Northern Michigan, got a master's degree in public administration, now lives in Austin and works for Baker Tilly in public sector consulting.
nice.
So a couple of things I did
Proud
well.
daddy.
Proud daddy, married a great woman, produced 2 great children.
How did you get into banking? What was that transition like?
The transition, so I was a finance major at Morehouse, and so a lot of the jobs that a lot of my upperclassmen were getting that I looked up to and tried to model my career after, they were going into banking. And they were doing, some were doing retail banking, some were doing commercial lending. So that was my focus. And so when I came out, I had a job in banking, and that's what I wanted to do because that's what I saw them doing. And we were seeing that the key to success was getting that foundation in banking, and it would the rest would take care of itself.
So, did you ever imagine coming back to Detroit to be the president of one of the largest black-owned banks in the country?
I candidly, you romanticize about things that you hope to be able to accomplish. Don't necessarily. So I would say I had it in my mind. I felt that one day I would be able to do it. Just did not have the roadmap on how I would get there. But interestingly enough, the jobs that I had, the situations that I was able to work in and out of, and develop the skill set, prepared me for it. So, NBD, great career, left in '93 to go to business school. Honestly, did not think I would make it back home. Always came back home because loved and followed all of the teams, college and professional. Found my way back after our son graduated, and still I figured I would be an executive, but the opportunity to work at First Independence was really, I think, something that God kind of orderly divined, because I was in a great seat, and Kenneth came to me and had a vision and a story, and it really spoke to a lot of the things that I really wanted to do around the community that I love and have always been proud of. So
You guys complement each other so well. Kenneth Kelly is just a great guy, and
He really
he's
is.
brilliant, just brilliant. You know, I think he's alpha though, but
we won't hold that against him. We won't hold that against him.
And when he sees this, he'll be laughing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But you guys complement each other. What would you say is that the compliment that that most stands out between the two of you?
So I would say the thing that really we complement each other well. Again, this is a man that was extremely brilliant and extremely intelligent, understands the vision thing, how to create something and really take it and make it work. He also is smart enough to know how to assemble and get people in the right seats that can help execute on the plan and the vision that he has.
Right.
And so he understood my background, the work that I did, worked in management consulting, had foundational skills in banking, which really prepared me and equipped me for being able to problem solve and being able to manage through different situations and working in turnaround situations at companies, and also having business process reengineering experience and organizational change management experience from consulting provided me the skill set to help transform things in companies, which is what he was looking for in a leader. Plus, being a local person, it just helped because he had the story with the bank, with the story that the bank had, and my story, and aligning it with his vision. And it's a great partnership, and I truly am fortunate to be working with him.
I personally have been connected to the bank for some time.
I know.
As you well know, my cousin Carl Gregory was the first president of First Independence Bank when it launched. Very close to the late O'Neill Swanson, who was very instrumental with the bank as well. You got a lot on your shoulders, man. You've got, a lot going on, a lot of accomplishments already at the bank. But black banks, they're dwindling.
They are.
Why are they important, and how can we turn that around?
So, if it goes back to pre-integration, there were periods where, because of laws, restrictive covenants, people of color couldn't get loans. They couldn't. They basically had very, very limited access to financial knowledge, and a bank like First Independence provides them access. It provides them a chance to interact with people that look like them, that's still in the business of running a bank and for a profit, but understands their story and can really try to help improve their lives. Because at some point in time, I had a family member, at some point I knew somebody that was going through something that a customer is going through. So I'm going to make an extra effort and go the extra yard to try to figure out a way to help them get a loan, or if I can't help them directly, find a resource that can assist them.
Right. Great. Now, financial wealth is one thing.
Yes.
And it's always a struggle to get there, especially in minority communities, black communities. Give me your thoughts on the importance of keeping black dollars, black wealth in the black community.
Turning that money in our community, it just creates opportunities for sustainability. You create partnerships. You help people sustain their businesses. You help them feed their families by doing that. And you show a commitment to your folks that look like you. And it's a very strong way of just showing and saying, I believe in you, I believe in your business, I believe in your product, and I know it's a very good product. And that builds confidence and generates revenue and greater opportunities for those companies to grow. So we have to do a better job of keeping that money in that communities that look like ours.
Yeah, and I think that with the help of First Independence Bank, with your seminars and your series and your workshops, we're not there yet, but as you indicated, we're beginning to do a better job.
We are doing a better job. What you're seeing is that there are more black-owned private equity or early-stage investing companies. Some are intentionally focused on startup companies. Some are intentionally focused on African-American companies. And entrepreneurship is the fastest way to create sustainable generational wealth. And as we see more entities like that stand up, we'll see more money staying in our communities.
We've got to turn that tide. You guys are doing a great job. I mean, community-based, all the activities, the speaker series that you put on a regular basis. But I think that with the new office or bank that you have out of state, that I want you to talk about a little bit. You just launched a new
Yes.
bank, so
We're proud of the fact that we were able to stand up 2 branches in Minneapolis. We're serving a community that was going through at the time George Floyd was murdered some of the same challenges that we were experiencing after the '67 riots, and folks were sick and tired of being sick and tired, and wanted to have a financial institution that would speak to their needs and be tailored to the things that they want. So when we went to Minneapolis, we were intentional about trying to improve the housing percentages for people of color, and we're going to continue to meet that promise by additional programs like down payment assistance, focusing on loans and products that really meet their needs, and hire people that are from that community but know that community.
at the same time, you're not taking away any resources from Detroiters.
Right. We're not competing with Minneapolis. They complement us. We're speaking to a segment of the market that probably in a lot of ways that hasn't had as much attention paid to it. Yes, there are other banks that are there, but they may not focus or be as intentional to try and meet those needs as we can. And it's just a function of having the products and really being seriously interested in that demographic.
Well, how has banking changed over the last 10 years?
Technology has made a
Online
big difference.
banking.
You can open up an account online. You can do everything on your cell phone. Also, with that change, we still have to be focused on the seniors that still want to have transactions and want the personal touch. And we also have to be wary of cybersecurity and the potential problems that bad actors have when they now can impersonate you, steal your identity. And so we have to make sure that we have the right cybersecurity mousetraps in place to protect our customers' assets and educate them on how to protect their money whilst they are at home.
How is AI affecting the banking industry?
Well, very helpful, but there's also some potential risk with it. We need to understand it. What AI does, you now have the ability to use artificial intelligence or AI to help transcribe minutes, to do research, to do analysis for you. And there are components about it that can be very, very useful. However, on the flip side, there's still some components of AI that we're trying to determine, because there are certain questions that if you ask generative AI to do, they do. If they don't know the answer, there's a term that's called hallucinations, and they will try to find an answer, and it may not be the right one. So you have to be careful as to what you are using AI for, because it can create or give you information that may not be completely accurate. That's why some aspect of the human interaction is necessary, but a very, very helpful tool. And in some ways, it's
getting a lot of college kids in trouble.
It is. It is indeed.
But it's also helping in a lot of different ways too.
I agree totally.
Yeah. What tips would you give our viewers? Financial tips or recommendations on banking or financial issues?
So some of the tips that I would tell them and give them is that our bank has grown and evolved from initially being a bank focused on people of color, but we're a bank for everybody. Yes, we're black owned, but we're not black only. We also are advanced enough where we have products that can assist the underbanked and the non-bank. We have a first choice checking account for those individuals that want to reestablish a relationship with a bank. We also have partnerships with Mass Mutual, which allow us to provide investment and advisory services to get mutual fund accounts open. And it opens the door for a much wider menu of products that we didn't have 20 years ago. And those are some things that are making us competitive and sustainable. Plus, we have partnerships with the big banks that we may only have 4 branches, but you can, because we have partnerships, you can go to about 55,000 branches and use your ATM or debit card and not be assessed a surcharge. So
Nice.
those are some products that make us
Right,
attractive.
right. Thinking about our youth,
Yes.
what is your advice to young people who want to get into the banking space, the financial investment space? What kind of direction or advice would you give them?
The advice that I would give them, first of all, you have to understand the fundamentals of finance. It's the science of managing money. That is a career path that if you are patient and understand it and try to learn about it, it can carry you a long way. The unique thing about it is that there are a lot of individuals whose shoulders we stand on, the Aubrey Lees, the Walter Watkins, the Ty Davenports of the world. And then there are not as many of us that are as interested in going into that space. Our young people, and I have a 25-year-old son, they tend to get impatient and don't understand the need to sometimes sit back, learn, process, and go through ups and downs, because failure prepares you for success. And you have to go through some type of adversity in order to build. And the playground for advancement in that field is so wide open. We learn a craft, learn a specific craft in financial services. It could be wealth management. It could be investment banking. It could be sales and trading. And if you lean into it and develop relationships, the people that came behind you and the people that are currently there, some may not look like you, but if you lean into that, it can be financially rewarding.
Who else would you consider?
Role models that I had, one of the biggest ones was Walt Watkins, NBD.
Oh, yeah.
This is a story I tell them. They laugh. I used to worry and follow him, Ty Davenport, and their cues.
Oh, yeah.
And their cues.
Yeah.
But
Ty's a good guy, man.
They were patient. I listened. I learned from the things that they were doing. Again, I'm Mike Tyson, who went on to have a phenomenal career. I followed Linda Forte.
Yes.
Those are the individuals that I watched that saw ambition in me and saw that I was interested and eager to learn and was actually going to follow through on the things and the suggestions that they gave me. And I guess that's why they let me stay in the room when they were when they were teaching.
It's so interesting that all the names that you mentioned are people that I've looked up to for a number of years. And when you used to, back in the day when the Michigan Chronicle was the paper you had to get every Wednesday to look at pictures, right? To look at the society, who was out.
Yes.
You would see these people out
Indeed.
and about. Linda Forte, oh my God, she's just awesome. Ty is a great guy. Walt Watkins, but you also look to see the connection that they all had with Coleman Young.
Indeed.
And how a lot of them came up, not in his administration, but because in their companies,
in the companies that he was in.
Yes.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Shirley Sancato, who hired me.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember meeting Coleman Young when he was a state senator. And he was such an amazing, charming man. And as I became an adult and I saw the confidence that and the pride that he had. And my grandparents, when they migrated here, they stayed in the Black Bottom, so they knew about Coleman. And my mother was in the last graduating class at Miller High School. So there were a lot of commonalities. And Coleman Young was just a force. And again,
they don't make them like that anymore.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
And you certainly have succeeded in our model of achievement.
Absolutely.
With all your endeavors. So congratulations with that.
Thank you, brother.
So let's do some rapid fire questions.
Let's go.
Dutch Girl Donuts or Krispy Kreme?
Krispy Kreme.
Okay. Belle Isle or Kensington Park?
Belle Isle.
For sure. Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
LeBron James.
Really?
I'm a Pistons fan.
Okay.
I'm a Detroit guy.
All right. Michael Jordan or Isaiah Thomas?
Isaiah Thomas.
Okay. Favorite Michigan season?
Fall.
Great. Me too. Favorite vacation spot?
Oh, Martha's Vineyard.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Martha's Vineyard.
We haven't been there in a long time, but those vacations at Martha's Vineyard.
Manioc, Maine is also good. In Maine.
What part of Maine?
Maine. It's in Manioc.
Oh.
It's a beautiful area.
Okay.
Similar in a lot of ways to the vineyard.
Yeah. Sean and I did a Maine. We started Portland and traveled down and ended up in Boston.
Yeah.
That was a good trip. Chicago or New York?
New York.
Yeah.
I love Chicago. I lived in Aurora, so prompted me, but something about being in New York. I used to travel there quite a bit with work.
Yeah, New York, especially around the holiday season,
Yes.
Christmas.
It still has it's a one of a kind place.
Yeah.
It is.
Just to go into Macy's at Christmas time is just mesmerizing.
It is truly amazing.
Listen, man, we really appreciate you being with us today. This has been extremely enlightening. And
it is.
Again, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It's a major role.
Thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you, big brother.
All right. All right.
In Kappa Alpha Psi.
Get my deference.
You get your deference, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks, man. I really
Thank
appreciate you.
Okay.
Thanks again, brother.
You're welcome.
There it is.
All right.
Thanks again for joining us for another episode of Casual Conversations with Mario Morrow with our good friend, President Hutcherson from First Independence Bank.